Where are we headed?
We're on our way to the Pembroke Hospital. It's just across the canal. They'll have a bed for poor Mr. Hampton.
William Wood.
Were London as peaceful as she appears from the middle of the canal? If only that were the reality of the situation.
To be honest, I've always tried to avoid this part of town.
Pembroke Hospital is the last bastion between the rest of London and the epidemic. The flu has decimated the East End and the war still rages. Welcome to the front lines of a plague.
This is where you work, Dr. Swansea?
I am the administrator of Pembroke Hospital.
I thought you were here in service of your mysterious order, the Brotherhood of...
Of St. Paul's Stole, yes. But first and foremost, I'm a man of science. A physician, like yourself, Dr. Reed.
How do you know who I am?
No need for modesty. You are Dr. Jonathan Reed, a surgeon of some caliber and renown, if I'm not mistaken.
You are correct, sir.
I knew it! I had my suspicions. But when you took the blood sample from the corpse of poor William, I was certain. Dr. Reed, marvelous.
Have we met?
I attended 3 of your seminars before the war. I have the utmost admiration for your research. And what a turn of fate. England's most esteemed blood specialist returns to London a vampire.
That word, again. From a so-called man of science.
I understand. Traditionally, the role of science is to refute myth, but when myth walks among us, the Brotherhood of St. Paul has dedicated its purpose to their study. There's so much for you to learn.
Of that, you are right.
Well, then let me be blunt. Join my staff at Pembroke Hospital. As a physician. I suspect you'll not find a better post of employment to contemplate your predicament.
This is sudden. I was returning home to see my sickly mother. But alas, that was before contracting this... affliction.
Dr. Reed, take a moment to consider. The post would be for the night shift, providing a good explanation for your absence during daylight hours. You'll be adequately reimbursed, and have a place to hide. I even had the forethought to bring some clean clothes. So,
bon, bah, c'est des vêtements propres alors, allez, hein.
It seems I have little choice, but yours is a generous offer, so I thank you.
Brilliant! Oh, Jonathan, this is one for the book, and the beginning of a beautiful friendship.
Bah moi il m'énerve lui, hein. Vous savez quoi, on va faire un deal. Si à un moment du jeu il m'est proposé de le tuer, je le tuerai pour vous, pour toi qui regarde cette vidéo.
Dr. Swansea, thank goodness. I was beginning to be concerned.
Worry no more, Nurse Crane, for I bring good news.
Oh, Doctor, what a night. We lost 2 more patients. Nurse Scow said she couldn't take it anymore and resigned.
Yes, well, I'll make a new rota in the morning. In the meantime, find a good bed for Mr. Hampton. Be sure to pay attention to his needs.
Of course, Doctor.
Oh, and Dorothy,
Yes, Doctor?
Dr. Reed here has just returned from the front. He served King and Country and will be joining us here at Pembroke. We're very lucky to have gained a surgeon of his talent, and one so experienced in blood transfusions.
That is good news indeed, Doctor.
Oh, yes. Here at Pembroke, it's not what we have, but what we haven't. It's only thanks to Nurse Crane and the staff that our ship doesn't sink. If you have any questions, just ask her.
Duly noted. Thank you.
Your assistance is required, Dr. Swansea, immediately.
Welcome aboard, Jonathan. We'll catch up after my rounds. Coming, Nurse Crane. I'm coming.
Ah, voilà, il y a de la gueule là. Avec sa petite cravate. Très classe, j'aime beaucoup. J'aime vraiment beaucoup cette époque. Ce que je trouve génial, c'est que le gars il avait quand même pile poil les vêtements à la taille quoi. Mais vraiment la ajusté limite sur mesure quoi. C'est un manteau comme ça pour avoir les épaules qui t'arrivent bien correctement. Soit faut que tu sois random guy avec des tailles random, vraiment random de chez random, j'aime beaucoup ce mot. Soit c'est du sur mesure.
It's okay,
Hein, clairement.
Jonathan. I'll see you later.
Comme il m'éjecte. Allez, barre-toi qui me dit. Oh là.
Rotten or pristine, each heart contains the seeds of life. Drink at this river, dry it all.
Oh, come on, you bastard! I won't bite.
Sir, please. You've lost too much blood. Calm yourself.
You think I didn't notice? Stop your staring and get me to an hospital, you arse!
Insulting a good Samaritan. Not exactly the way to get rescued.
All right, sorry. I am in pain here. My guts are spilling out onto the street and you're yabbering on.
Yes. That's a very nasty wound you've got there. Take my word, I am a doctor. Dr. Jonathan Reed.
Name's Clay Cox. I'd appreciate you helping me to a better place, Doc.
Follow me, Mr. Cox. Let me assist you to that better place.
La qualité du sang indique la quantité d'expérience que vous pourrez tirer d'un citoyen. Plus la qualité du sang est bonne, plus la quantité d'expérience reçue est importante. Afin de boire le sang d'une proie, vous devez d'abord le charmer pour l'attirer vers un lieu à l'abri des regards. Votre niveau de charme doit être supérieur ou égal à la résistance du citoyen. Appuyez sur L1 pour charmer Clay. J'appelle pas ça charmer, moi, ça, j'appelle ça...
Bring this fading light into the shadows. Dance with him the dance of life and death.
Soit je l'attrape, je le mange tout de suite, soit apparemment je le relâche et je pourrais récupérer plus sur lui plus tard. Donc vu que ça a l'air d'être un sale con, je suis bien tenté de le bouffer. Mais je sais que c'est un sale con. Si je le laisse récupérer, il aura plus à m'offrir quand je le boufferai. Du coup, je vais le relâcher. Ouais. Allez, casse-toi.
No more. Not tonight. Not like this. I will not take another life.
Trophée débloqué. Oui, miséricorde. Je suis vraiment trop gentil. Allez, repose-toi Bobby.
It is wise for the huntsman to sometimes let his prey go. But no famished hunter can run for long.
Ouais, mais moi ce que je comprends pas, c'est qu'il vient de casser la gueule à quelqu'un, lui, il l'a foutu dans la rivière. Peut-être je peux manger le corps encore flottant du gars. Non. Tant pis. Non, mais on va trouver quelqu'un à manger, il y a bien... Bonsoir.
Doctor, where have you been? I've little time to play hide and seek with new staff members,
Moi,
no
tu vas me
matter
parler sur
how
un autre ton, toi
illustrious
aussi,
they
hein.
may be.
I found a wounded man by the docks. He answers to the name of Clay Cox. He requires urgent medical attention.
Already making the rounds? That's the Pembroke spirit. I'll ask our porter, Milton, to bring him back immediately.
Thank you,
Ah,
nurse. What can I do for you?
mettez-le dans une chambre discrète,
Dr. Swansea
donnez-lui
insisted we provide you a
traitement de
quiet
fer.
office. You'll find it on the second floor with your name on the door.
Thank you. Nurse Crane, isn't it?
Yes, Dorothy Crane. Welcome to Pembroke Hospital, Dr. Reed. Your office has been prepared.
I would like to ask a few questions first. If you could point me in the direction of my room again, nurse.
Second floor of the hospital, left after the stairs. It's the
Gauche
last
après
vacant
l'escalier.
office at the end of the corridor.
Très bien, bah salut,
Thank
tout ce
you.
que je voulais savoir, je me casse. Allez, à plus Dorothy. À tout à l'heure, dans la nuit. Dans la prochaine nuit. Non plus. Oh, une affiche. Ah, la lecture. Ville A. Vous. Aide médicale efficace est un coup. Épidémie. Les bénévoles sont indispensables. Vous allez me tromper de mot.
Dr. Swansea is right. This place seems perfect to conduct my research.
Ouais.
So many deaths.
Hop là, si tu veux lire, tu me poses.
My own life.
You are going to reveal all your secrets.
Good evening, miss. I'm Dr. Reed, the new surgeon at the Pembroke Hospital. And who are you?
Your name has no meaning to me, mortal. You're nothing but dust blown by the winds of eternity.
I beg your pardon.
What are you begging for, mortal? My clemency? Well, tonight maybe I'm inclined to mercy. You'll never forget the night you met Thelma Howcroft.
You keep calling me mortal. Why is that? And if I'm mortal, what are you?
Well, Dr. Reed, if you must know, I'm a vampire.
Ok, qualité du 100 000, indice, 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 ok. Ah, mais faut quand même que je leur parle à tous, en fait, pour avoir des infos sur eux. Oh, c'est chiant.
Who are you really, Miss Howcroft? I mean, apart from being a vampire.
Is that not enough for you, puny mortal? What do you require? Proof of my powers?
I'm curious to know who you were before becoming a vampire.
It was such a long time ago, I don't remember. Centuries of unholy life can have strange effects on one's minds, you see?
D'accord, donc toi tu pues le mensonge.
And why do you believe you're a vampire?
I don't need to believe anything. It is what I am. It is what I feel within this hollow shell of flesh.
I see. Have you ever heard of Cotard's syndrome, Miss Howcroft?
Never.
It's a mental illness discovered by a French neurologist named Jules Cotard. The affected patients are delusional. They believe that they are putrefying, that they are dead, a ghost or a ghoul, or in your case, a vampire.
Delusional, you say? Oh, sad and petty mortal. You can't even begin to understand
Ouais,
the
donc faut
concept
vraiment
of
bien parler à tout le monde.
And you think it is I who am
C'est un
delusional?
cluedo. C'est cool.
Please, Describe to me how you feel. What is it like to be a vampire?
I can hear my body crumble from the inside as my flesh cracks and fades. I sense the last pulse of postulant blood within my drying veins. I need new blood.
Du coup, maintenant qu'on a un indice... Ah non, on n'a pas l'indice, d'accord.
I'm assuming you must be a patient here. Am I right, Miss Howcroft?
It's only a cover to hide from my enemies. I can leave whenever I want.
C'est une seule gueule
As a
derrière.
woman, a spirit, fog, or bat.
The staff here are not your enemy. They're here to help you, to care for you.
I'm not speaking of the doctors in white. I'm speaking of the men and women who hunt me. For I am a vampire.
I see. Don't worry. These people will not find you here. I'll personally make sure they leave you alone.
Thank you, mortal. But do not interfere with them, for you are no match for those that hunt me.
Who are these enemies you mentioned? Can you describe them?
I cannot say for sure. But I sense their eyes on me from nearby. I feel them watching me every time I visit the garden near the morgue.
D'accord. Et d'accord, ok. Donc toi tu es à 2. Ok. Bien, bah
I'll
écoute,
leave you, Mistress of the Dark, to your nocturnal activities.
il y a de l'humour. Il y a de l'humour le petit, j'aime bien.
Good
Allez, à
evening,
ton tour.
sir. Can I
Interrogatoire.
help you?
Unless you're here to fix my face. No. I don't think you can help me.
I'm Dr. Reed. I've recently taken the position of head surgeon here. War injuries, am I right?
You guessed right, Doctor. German shell took my pretty little mug right off. But they still call me Thomas Elwood.
Alors, est-ce que toi aussi t'as des... Ah, d'accord.
How close are you to Miss Hawcroft? Are you aware that she thinks she is a vampire?
To wait for her next nibble is the best reason to stay here. Every time she approaches my bed, she treats me like something tasty. A normal person.
Aren't you afraid? She may hurt you if the game goes too far.
She's quite harmless, I can assure you. Her head's broken inside is all. An arm busted on the outside.
Ok, donc lui il a l'extérieur de la tête ravagée et elle c'est l'intérieur quoi.
Living proof.
Ils se
there's
complètent
hope
hein,
for me.
d'une certaine façon.
You do realize she's mentally disturbed. It's called the Cotard syndrome. She truly believes she's a vampire.
In her madness, she never refers to my scars. And frankly, if I could, I'd join her world. It seems much more fun than the real one.
Oh là là, pessimiste lui hein.
So do you let her bite you? You know that's not sanitary.
And why not? She's only supping a few drops of me blood. And the pain, it's real for once.
She could decide to bite less willing patients.
Then it's another good reason for me to stay here, Doctor.
Bon allez, je me casse, tu m'as saoulé toi.
Goodbye for now.
Dépressif va. Je lui parlerai une autre fois. Je pense que je leur parlerai un petit peu plus dans l'épisode prochain. L'épisode précédent. Oui, je ferai ça dans l'épisode précédent. On fera ça dans le prochain épisode. Je vais aller dans le bureau et on va terminer l'épisode là-haut. C'était à droite. C'était à droite. Au fond du couloir. Premier étage, à droite, au fond du couloir. Oh yeah. Ça c'est métal. Dossier médical de Elwood. Et ça c'est mon bureau. Ah mais j'ai vraiment un sacré sens de l'orientation quand même.
This must be the place. It's definitely away from prying eyes. Relegated to the shadows. A kingdom of my own. At least I won't be sleeping in a coffin.
Il a vraiment beaucoup d'humour. Je rigole pas parce que je suis pas un mec marrant, mais il a beaucoup d'humour, j'aime bien.
The flower's dying. It needs water.
Oh non, c'est trop, s'il vous plaît. Oh là là, vas-y, je leur fais tout doucement, comme ça, tu lis, t'es tranquille. Ah non, ça a l'air super intéressant en plus. Ouais, mais je pense que je le lirai. Genre, si j'en rencontre un de Econ. Si je rencontre un gars comme ça, je pense que je le lirai. Voilà, j'espère que tu as le temps de lire. Si t'as pas le temps de lire, tu mets pause. Mon reflet déformé dans la vitre. Je suis tellement beau. Oh là là, je suis tellement beau. Mais oui, t'es beau, Kenji. Alors autant par contre les tomates sont mal faites, autant là. Regardez-moi cette barbe. Putain, est-ce qu'elle est belle, bordel. Alors, oh bah c'est bien, c'est que j'avais pas du tout regardé la dernière fois. Par contre, je suis désolé, hein, mais j'ai toujours la flemme de lire. Je suis vraiment... Vampyr let's play, hein, n'hésitez pas. Si ce let's play vous plaît, mettez un pouce bleu. S'il vous plaît pas, mettez un pouce bleu aussi. Comme ça je saurai si... voilà. Je trouverais ça cool. Oh, une malle. Non, j'ai pas envie. Non, j'ai pas envie. J'ai pas envie, cherche pas, j'ai pas envie, je suis pas d'humeur. Analyser le sang. Oui, c'est vrai, fallait que je fasse ça, analyser le sang. Alors, c'était là. Échantillon de sang de William Bishop. Échantillon de sang frais de William Bishop dans un petit tube. Sérum. Sérum de régénération léger. Restaure immédiatement 300 points de vie, puis 150 points de vie sur 15 secondes. D'accord. Donc, ok. Bah écoute, j'ai envie de te dire, pourquoi pas. J'ai envie de te dire pourquoi pas.
William Bishop's blood is much more unstable than human blood and shows extensive mutation. But this is not what happened to me. I must keep on searching. The sun is about to rise. I can feel it. I'll continue tomorrow night. I have so much time now.
Utiliser le lit pour se reposer jusqu'à la nuit suivante. Bah ouais, mais avant que ça arrive, moi ce que je vous propose, mes petits chats. Oh, Docteur Tipette, trop mignon comme nom. Moi aussi je veux m'appeler comme ça. On va peut-être renommer la chaîne. On va peut-être l'appeler Tipette. Non, je vais pas te shooter à cette blague, je suis désolé. Je suis désolé, c'était nul. Si cette blague était nulle, n'hésitez pas à mettre un pouce en l'air. Ce gratteur. Pardon, je suis désolé, je me fais rire. Est-ce que se faire rire tout seul, c'est considéré comme mégalo ou pas? Oh, elle me fait envoyer chier et tout.
It's locked, all right.
It's locked. Moi, je regarde partout, hein. Moi, Resident Evil, hein. Moi, je cherche des balles, hein. Une caisse. Non, des petites bouteilles, non. Moi, je voulais de la poudre. Dehors. Ok. Je suis désolé, j'ai vraiment aucune idée d'où je vais. Hein. Là, je papillonne, hein, clairement. Non, faut pas que je fasse ça. Faut pas que je fasse ça. Faut pas que je fasse ça, voyons. Avis public. Ouvrez-vous la bouche d'un mousseau. Ah, Corona. Eh oui, on y est. Ah ouais, carrément. Ah ouais, non, mais j'ai choisi le meilleur moment pour jouer à ça.
It's locked.
It's locked.
Scowl voices in the garden. I should investigate. If they were to find somebody.
D'accord, si tu veux. Ok. Ah, nous a mis les tomates. Le retour, c'est pas du tout des tomates. Pardon, je suis désolé. Est-ce que je peux sauter ailleurs? Est-ce qu'il y a un autre endroit où... non, je suis tombé. Ah, mais c'est lui qui fait ce bruit-là. Tiens. Je te laisse une chance, parce que bon bah... Voilà, je te laisse une chance. Oh ce pro gamer, oh là là, mesdames et messieurs. Mais quel pro gamer, oh là là, la feinte que je lui ai mis. Je joue en difficile. Rappelez-vous. Rappelez-vous. C'est quoi? Encore la bagarre. Voilà. Je suis tellement en train de tryhard. Non, non, non. Tiens, 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 tiens. Et voilà, trop facile. Et même pas une petite pointe de stress, rien. Mets-moi une olive entre les fesses et je t'aurais fait une bouteille de 2 litres. D'huile, je parle.
I cannot enter.
I cannot enter. Oh, mon reflet. Mon reflet dans la porte est plus joli que mon reflet dans le miroir. Notez ça. Très important. Quarantaine, grippe. Ouais, corona. Corona. Super. Quarantaine, maladie. Allez, laisse-moi tranquille. Qui poute. C'est toi qui poute. Tu poutes toi-même. Malade de quoi, lui, ce de qui poute. Je ne quand même. Fou, lui. Ah là là, c'est pas malheureux ça. Le gars il est médecin, il fout dans les poubelles, putain. T'as vivement la grève des médecins là. Hein. Parce que franchement ils sont vraiment sous-payés. C'est pas normal.
Good evening, Nurse Hawkins.
Salut Marguerite. Raconte-moi ta vie. Comment tu t'appelles? Ah d'accord, super. La meuf pas bavarde du tout. Indice requis, ça va hein. Oh, tu la pètes un peu toi. Hein.
The flu is wreaking havoc amongst the staff and patients. We are running out of everything.
You must get a hold of yourself, nurse.
Sorry, I'm exhausted. No one has any idea when this epidemic will be over.
Tu me dis ça à moi?
Nurse Hawkins, the Spanish flu won't last forever. Even the Black Plague didn't kill everyone.
I wish I could believe you. But what if this epidemic was worse? What if in the end, nobody was spared?
Ils sont mignons avec leur grippe espagnole. Nous on a le coronavirus en ce moment. Hein. Alors je sais pas si... Hein, Corona ça vous parle, mais... Enfin les bars sont fermés quand même. Voilà, les bars fermés c'est très chiant quand même. Hein. Nous on a soif. Du coup.
How long have you been a nurse?
Well, long enough to see that the epidemic is winning. And no matter how qualified you are, don't tell me you'll change that.
I don't like your attitude, Nurse Hawkins. Pessimism can be as lethal as the epidemic in times like these.
Sorry, Doctor. I don't want to sound bitter, but I'm just too tired to give a pep talk like Nurse Brannigan.
Et t'es médecin, tu lui prescris un Xanax et on n'en parle plus.
How long have you been a nurse?
Or long enough to see that the epidemic is winning. And no matter how qualified you are, don't tell me you'll change that.
I don't like your attitude, Nurse Hawkins. Pessimism can be as lethal as the epidemic in times like these.
Sorry, Doctor. I don't want to sound bitter, but I'm just too tired to give a pep talk like Nurse Brannigan.
How is the Pembroke staff coping with the epidemic?
Well, not well. Milton, the ambulance driver, is even more grumpy than usual.
Ah, Milton.
Especially
On va aller
concerning
voir lui, hein.
doctors.
Y a pas de souci.
Why is Milton grumpy on a daily basis? Is it just an act?
Milton's not the kind of man who's bothered about a bad reputation, whether he deserved it or not.
Milton, nouvel indice débloqué. Disponible, je sais plus parler. Super, donc c'est son entourage à elle. Ok. Pipa. Pipa Pig.
Why is Milton
Je savais
grumpy
bien que c'était une
on a
cochonne.
daily basis? Is it just an act?
Désolé.
Milton's not the kind of man who's bothered about a bad reputation, whether he deserved it or not.
Bien. Bien. Votre vie à Londres. Bien. Question personnelle. Bien. Au revoir.
Goodbye, Nurse Hawkins.
Allez, salut.
It's
Verrouillé.
locked, all right.
Open. Une longue lettre. Blablabla, blablabla, tata pipa, blablabla. Nitouche. Blablabla, saleté de guerre. Je t'aime, Serette. Bon, je vais le dire à chaque épisode, hein, mais si vraiment vous avez envie de lire, moi je vais essayer d'ouvrir un maximum de documents pour vous, parce que je suis un mec super sympa. Mais je vais pas les lire, parce que je suis un mec super feignant aussi. Donc si vous voulez les lire, n'hésitez pas, mettez pause, tranquille, on n'est pas pressé, on est bien, on est entre nous. Voilà, y a pas de problème. Enfin, franchement, honnêtement, hein, de toi à moi, je le prends pas mal si tu mets pause. Hein. En vrai, je le vois pas, tu vois, je m'en fous moi. Ça me dérange pas. Oh non, toi je te parle pas, j'ai pas envie. Harry Potter. Oh. Toi je te parlerai en dernier, toi. Ça c'est mes collègues. Du coup, vu que je suis médecin aussi. Et oui. Ah, j'aimerais tellement pouvoir leur parler et faire le gars hautain. Genre, vous êtes infirmier? Non, je suis docteur. Ah bon, vous êtes infirmier.
Good evening, Doctor. I believe we're going to be working together.
Dr. Reed. Dr. Swansea informed us of your arrival, but I could not dare to believe we'd have such good fortune. Such an honor, sir.
Thank you. And you are?
I am Thoreau Strickland, Dr. Thoreau Strickland. I'm a great admirer of your work, Dr. Reed.
Allez, c'est reparti. Bon, bah là, on est tranquille, on n'a pas à lui parler. Parlez-moi de vous. Comment tu t'appelles? Tu viens de me le dire. Quel âge as-tu? C'est quoi ton plat préféré? Quel est ton film d'horreur préféré?
What made you choose to be a doctor?
I'm not ashamed to admit you and your work have inspired me. I am honored to have the opportunity to work by your side.
Non, tu travailles pas avec moi, Tisha, tu travailles pour moi maintenant.
I'll give you some advice, but understand that nothing beats practical experience, which can be exhausting and solitary work.
Of course, sir. And don't worry, I will never allow myself to be a burden, neither to you nor this hospital.
I based my technique on my mentor's research. He helped me perfect my method. What is yours?
I'd rather not talk about it. For now, it's just theories and first approach. My process is purely experimental and unsuccessful.
As long as you're cautious and methodical, you may remain empty-handed, but you won't fail.
You're not the first one to warn me, but I am convinced knowledge is the main weapon against the ravages of this epidemic.
Y a pas de
What
problème.
can you tell me about the Pembroke?
Well, it has always been an honor to work with Dr. Swansea. But with your arrival, I can't think of a better opportunity to learn about blood transfusion.
You seem quite optimistic. It's a rare and precious attitude in these difficult times.
I'm convinced that this epidemic is a
Il a la
test,
bougeotte, hein.
a test
Et il
of
me fout une
endurance and
angoisse.
dedication for us men of science.
Questions remain about our capacity to resolve the situation.
True, true.
Calmez Pierre-Henri, hein.
Last summer,
Hyper
during
actif,
the
toi, hein.
first wave of the epidemic, I used to joke with Milton about the extra work. We're not smiling now.
Vous devez demander non, je vais pas lui demander, parce que s'il me dit oui, je vais être emmerdé. Question personnelle. À propos de votre technique.
Tell me more about your willingness to experiment with new medical techniques.
Harvey Fiddick is a patient suffering from a severe injury that could cripple him if not treated correctly. I'm convinced your blood transfusion technique could help him.
What is it you really want? To save him? Or to prove your point?
Fair question. I want nothing but to save my patient, Dr. Reed. Especially since I know Mr. Fiddick's story.
Tell me Mr. Fiddick's story.
Our first diagnosis was compromised because Mr. Fiddick lied to us about the real origin of his injury. He first claimed it was an accident.
But why would he hide such crucial information from us?
Because he is a proud father, ashamed of putting his children at risk because of his own negligence.
This personal involvement could also appear to be a lack of impartiality. You must know that a good surgeon must remain neutral.
I agree. But that does not excuse Dr. Ackroyd's behavior. A man who did not even take time to converse with his patient.
Bien.
Do you think keeping his distance was a mistake?
All I know is that I'm taking care of human beings with desires, hopes and fears. Not some biological machine comprised of blood, bones and flesh.
Super. Bah, tu m'envoies ravi, frérot. Ok, allez. Bah
Goodbye,
écoute,
Dr.
passe
Fiddick.
une super journée. Et puis, ben... Au revoir.
Good evening, sir. I'm Dr. Reed. May I help you?
I don't know if a third opinion is needed. Your colleagues are already arguing about my condition.
I see. Would you mind telling me more about your situation?
I'm Harvey Fiddick. All I want is to get me bloody arm fixed properly.
Non, ouais, prends des gants, frérot, d'abord, avant de lui parler comme ça.
Tell me about yourself, Mr. Fiddick.
I'm just a regular guy waiting to get his arm fixed, so I can return to work and to my family.
I was more curious about what you were doing.
Je parle à tout le
before
monde,
leaving hospital.
parce
I'm a
que
carpenter.
ça me semble intéressant et
But that
et
means I
tout,
need
mais si
both
jamais ça
arms
vous
to feed
gonfle,
my family.
vous me le dites dans les commentaires, vous n'hésitez pas, vous me dites c'est nul, ou arrête de parler, on s'en bat les couilles. Et puis bah, l'épisode d'après, du coup, bah, peut-être que je leur parlerai un peu moins ou pas du tout. Ça dépendra de mon envie aussi, parce que si j'ai envie de leur parler et que vous n'avez pas envie, je m'en fous, je fais ce que je veux. Mais votre avis compte, votre avis est important.
Tell me
N'hésitez
about
pas,
the doctors
n'hésitez
who
pas,
are
dites-le en
arguing
commentaire.
about your case.
Ou même pas forcément en commentaire, je sais pas, mettez des banderoles à vos
Both want the
fenêtres,
best for me, but there's a lot
criez
of
sur les
time.
toits, on s'en fout, arrête de
Doctors are no
parler.
different
Enfin,
from carpenters, it seems.
peut-être une chance que je vous entende,
I
on sait
often
jamais.
had professional arguments
Voilà, on
with
sait jamais.
rivals on a building site. Difference is I disagree
Pourquoi pas.
about wooden nails, not flesh and bones.
Are you satisfied with your treatment here?
Well,
Surtout que là, on apprend vraiment la vie de
it's clear
random
that I chose
PNJ,
at
quoi.
that
Donc,
time to be injured. Forgive my bluntness, but you seem overwhelmed by
enfin, là, je lui
cases
parle,
of
je
the flu.
m'intéresse à son cas et tout, son bras cassé, machin. S'il faut, dans 2 heures, je les péponds et on n'en parle plus, quoi.
I have the feeling you're very
Dans le
capable,
sens vampire, évidemment.
and your colleagues seem
Je
to think so
l'ai
too.
vidé, quoi.
In
Enfin,
other circumstances, you
c'est très
would be
ambigu,
right.
ce que je dis.
But for now, I don't think I can take on the responsibility.
Je l'ai mangé, ouais, on va parler comme ça plutôt. Je l'ai mangé. Peut-être dans 20 minutes, je l'ai mangé et j'aurais jeté son cadavre dans la rivière. Dans la rivière. Enfin bref, allez,
Tell me about your injury, Harvey.
passons.
Why do you feel so guilty about it?
My wife died because of me, And now I may lose everything because I've been careless enough to hurt myself. What an arsehole.
How could your job be responsible for your wife's death?
I was working a double. She went out to bring me a hot meal and got caught in a German bomb raid.
Non, Mustine, c'est pas ta
You
faute, ça.
can't hold yourself responsible for your injury, Mr. Fiddick, unless you tried to hurt yourself.
Of course I didn't hurt myself. But I can't work until my arm is fixed. My children need to eat, Doctor.
Tell me more about the death of your wife, Harvey.
1915. I was in the army, building workshops for the Royal Flying Corps. Helen was happy I wasn't sent to the front.
What happened?
The Germans sent Zeppelins to bomb the construction site, but they missed their target. My wife was bringing my dinner when the bombs fell.
I'm sorry for your loss. So many died during the bombings. I served in France and witnessed the carnage there.
I would like to say that she didn't suffer. Truth is, I have no idea. I just know that I'm all that me kids have. Poor little bleeders.
How are your children after losing their mother?
They were smaller then. The only good thing about this is my Helen didn't bring them with her that night.
Tu m'étonnes. Bien. Non, là, j'en viens.
Are you satisfied with your treatment here?
Je sais même pas si je lui ai déjà dit ça.
It's
Non, je
clear
vais
that
pas
I've
parler.
chosen a bad time to be injured. Forgive my bluntness, but you seem overwhelmed by cases of the flu.
I won't lie to you about it. I'm afraid we are.
Are you sure you don't want to operate yourself, Dr. Reed? I have the feeling you're very capable, and your colleagues seem to think so too.
In other circumstances, you would be right. But for now, I don't think I can take on the responsibility. My apologies.
Alors, elle vous plaît cette vue rideau?
Goodbye for now, Mr. Fiddick. I'll see you later.
You always knew the words to calm the children, Helen.
Il y a trop de gens à qui parler, c'est chiant.
Blundering idiot.
Bon, lui, il est quasiment mort, c'est bon, j'ai pas besoin de lui parler. Elle, j'avais déjà parlé, mais je vais lui reparler pour être sûr que je lui ai tout dit.
And Mr. Hampton, the patient we brought in, how does he fare?
I gave him a sedative to help him sleep. Poor thing was in quite a state of shock.
What kind of man is Dr. Swansea?
Well, you accepted the job from him. I thought you would have known about your employer.
It's right to assume Dr. Swansea knows far more about me than I do about him.
You'll get to know him soon enough, and better than me. The administrator has better things to do than mix with us.
Pardon, j'arrête.
Thank you,
Allez, au
Nurse
revoir.
Crane.
Bonne journée, Dorothy. À bientôt. Bisous. Toi, j'ai déjà parlé ou pas? Non, toi, je m'en fous. Je crois que t'as parlé, t'es moche. Toi, j'ai déjà parlé. Toi, t'es déjà mort. Toi, t'es déjà mort. Bah, il me reste lui et Harry Potter. Ah, il y a mamie aussi. On va l'appeler Hagrid. À cause du manteau, tout ça. Non? Découvrir qui espionne Thelma. Mais moi j'aimerais bien... Ok. Bah tant pis.
Thelma Howcroft said she was being watched by vampire hunters. Where are they hiding? I should investigate.
Fumier.
I understand you
Non,
must be very
peine
angry
de
about
dehors.
this unfair situation. I managed to arrange to have you buried in the same mass grave as your wife. I hope that might help.
It's locked, all right.
Enfoiré. Allez, c'est parti pour un petit peu de papillonnage. C'est la boîte à ma mère. Hein. Voilà. Il est gentil, il attend son tour lui.